Hey there, ready to dive deep? Today, we're tackling artificial intelligence, or AI.
AI.
It's already shaping our world, but the next 3 to 5 years, that's where things get really interesting and maybe a little unnerving.
Yeah.
One quote from our source material really hit me. AI is not going to replace humans. Humans with AI will replace humans that don't use AI.
It's a stark way of putting it, but it highlights the urgency of understanding what's happening. We're at a turning point, and those who adapt quickly will have a significant advantage.
I've got to admit, AI can feel like this big, mysterious force. Can you break it down for us? What's at the heart of how this technology actually works?
At its core, much of current AI is built on pattern recognition. Think of image generation AIs, like Stable Diffusion. They start with pure digital noise, a jumble of pixels, then based on the prompts you give it, the AI uses its understanding of patterns learned from massive data sets to arrange those pixels into an actual image.
So it's taking this huge amount of data and somehow compressing it into a form that lets it generate completely new images based on what we ask for.
Exactly. Stable Diffusion, for example, condenses 100,000 gigabytes of image data into a 2 gigabyte file. That's a 50,000 to 1 compression ratio.
Wow.
But it's not just compression. What's remarkable is that these AIs are learning fundamental principles from the data.
Okay, so how does this pattern recognition idea translate to something like ChatGPT, which deals with language?
Language models are built on a similar concept. They predict the next word in a sequence, but they do so based on an incredibly vast amount of text data. This allows them to exhibit what we call emergent properties, abilities that go beyond simply repeating what they've been fed. They can generate creative text formats, translate languages, write different kinds of content, and answer your questions in an informative way.
That's what blows my mind. These models are relatively small, maybe 100 or 200 gigabytes for something like GPT-4, but they're processing trillions of words. It seems like they're tapping into some deeper level of how language works, which makes me wonder if AI is this good at learning patterns and principles, what happens to us? One expert in our source material calls AI a forcing function, meaning everyone's going to have to use it to stay competitive.
It's a powerful statement that points to a potential upheaval in the job market. Some fields are going to be more impacted than others.
And the sources we're looking at today highlight healthcare and education as being particularly vulnerable to disruption. What makes those fields so susceptible?
Think about the potential for personalization. AI could tailor healthcare and education to each individual's specific needs. Imagine AI tutors adapting to each student's learning style, or AI-powered diagnostic tools providing incredibly accurate and personalized medical advice. These services would be accessible at a fraction the cost of traditional methods. That's a huge incentive for change.
That sounds incredible.
Yeah.
But what about the people who lose their jobs in those fields? Can new jobs be created fast enough to keep up with this level of automation?
That's a crucial question, and one that has many experts worried. We've seen disruptions before, like the outsourcing revolution.
Right.
But this is happening at a much faster pace and across more industries. Whether job creation can keep up is something we need to seriously consider.
It's hard not to feel a bit uneasy about all this. One of the sources even talks about a potential crisis of meaning as traditional jobs are impacted. What does that mean for people?
As AI takes over more and more tasks, it's natural for people to question their value in society. If your job is gone, how do you define your purpose, your contribution? These are profound questions that we as a society need to grapple with.
And it's not just about jobs, right? The source material also brings up some truly frightening possibilities. The idea of AI becoming so powerful that it poses an existential threat to humanity.
Right.
That's some serious Terminator stuff.
It's certainly a concern we need to address. There's a concept in AI called alignment, which is all about ensuring that AI systems act in accordance with human values and goals. But how do we define those values? How do we translate them into something an AI can understand and act on? Those are still open questions.
And it makes those letters signed by AI experts calling for a pause in development and a broader discussion seem even more urgent.
Absolutely. This technology is incredibly powerful, and it's developing at a pace unlike anything we've ever seen. We need to proceed with caution, making sure AI is developed and deployed responsibly.
Which brings us to the darker side of things.
Yes.
What if AI falls into the wrong hands? What if it's used for manipulation for control?
Those are real dangers. One source points to a study conducted by Meta, the parent company of Facebook, where they manipulated the news feeds of hundreds of thousands of users to see if they could influence their emotions.
It's horrifying to think that could happen on a larger scale. Imagine being bombarded with AI-generated misinformation or propaganda, all designed to exploit exploit your biases and vulnerabilities.
This potential for manipulation isn't limited to social media either. It could impact everything from elections to financial markets. We need to be keenly aware of these dangers and find ways to mitigate them. Regulation, transparency, ethical considerations. These are all vital aspects of responsible AI development.
Okay, so we've talked about the potential downsides, but I know there's a lot of excitement about the good AI can do too. After all, every crisis presents an opportunity.
Absolutely. And one area where AI holds immense promise is healthcare. I have a personal story about this. My son was diagnosed with autism when he was 2 years old at the time. There were no effective treatments or cures, so I used my background in AI to analyze all the autism research literature, hoping to find something that could help my son.
Wow, that's incredible you were able to leverage AI for highly personalized medical research.
Exactly, and that's just one example. Think about the potential for AI-powered drug discovery, personalized treatment plans, early disease detection. The possibilities are endless.
One of the sources also talks about AI-powered mimics systems. These are like personal knowledge repositories that capture and connect everything we learn and experience. Imagine having all of your notes, ideas, memories instantly accessible and searchable.
It would completely revolutionize the way we learn and think. AI could also facilitate collaboration and knowledge sharing on a global scale. Imagine connecting with people who share your interests no matter where they are in the world and working together to solve some of humanity's biggest challenges.
So it seems like AI has the potential to both empower humanity and lead us down a very dark path. It's this double-edged sword, and the choices we make today will determine which path we end up on.
Precisely, the question is, will we use AI to build a brighter future, or will it be used to control and manipulate us?
It's a question we all need to grapple with because, as one of our sources says, in every crisis there is opportunity. Our society is broken as it stands already, and I think this is a chance to reshape it for the better and solve a lot of the biggest problems that we've been facing.
It's easy to get caught up in the fear, but it's important to remember that AI is ultimately a tool. Like any tool, it can be used for good or bad. What matters is how we choose to wield it.
So how do we ensure that AI is used to create a better future for everyone? As you said, the source material paints a pretty bleak picture of the potential consequences if we get this wrong.
One crucial aspect is education. We need to equip people with the skills and knowledge to thrive in an AI-powered world. That means not just technical skills like coding and data analysis, but also critical thinking, problem solving, and adaptability.
It seems like the pace of change is so rapid. How do we even begin to prepare for jobs that don't even exist yet?
It's a challenge, no doubt, but one way to start is by fostering a lifelong learning mindset. We need to move away from the traditional model of education where you learn a set of skills and then apply them for the rest of your career. In the age of AI, continuous learning and upskilling will be essential.
That makes a lot of sense, but it also makes me think about access and equity. Not everyone has the same opportunities to learn and adapt. What happens to those who get left behind?
That's a critical point. We need to ensure that the benefits of AI are shared broadly and that everyone has the chance to participate in this new economy. That means addressing existing inequalities in education, access to technology, and economic opportunity.
You know, I'm struck by the fact that many of the jobs that are most vulnerable to automation are also jobs that are disproportionately held by people of color and low-income communities.
It's a concerning trend, and one that could exacerbate existing inequalities. We need to be proactive in addressing this issue, ensuring that these communities have access to the resources and support they need to thrive in an AI-driven world.
One idea that's mentioned in the source materials is the concept of a universal basic income, or UBI. The idea is that everyone would receive a guaranteed income, regardless of whether they're employed. Could this help to mitigate the economic disruption caused by AI?
UBI is certainly one potential solution, and it's being explored in various parts of the world. There are arguments for and against it, and it's a complex issue with no easy answers, but it's certainly worth considering as we think about how to create a more equitable and just society in the age of AI.
Another potential solution that's mentioned is the idea of a robot tax. Essentially, companies that automate jobs would be taxed, and the revenue generated would be used to fund social programs or retraining programs for displaced workers.
That's another intriguing idea, although it's also controversial. There are questions about how such a tax would be implemented and whether it would stifle innovation. But again, it's a conversation we need to be having.
It seems like there's no shortage of challenges ahead, but it's also clear that AI presents tremendous opportunities. One area that particularly excites me is the potential for AI to accelerate scientific discovery and innovation.
Absolutely. AI is already being used to analyze vast data sets in fields like medicine, genomics, and climate science. This is leading to breakthroughs that would have been impossible just a few years ago.
I'm also fascinated by the potential for AI to help us understand ourselves better. There's talk of AI-powered Memex systems, these personal knowledge repositories that capture everything we learn and experience. Do these. Imagine having all of your thoughts, ideas, memories instantly accessible and searchable.
It would be a game changer. We could gain deeper insights into our own cognitive processes, identify patterns in our thinking, and even unlock hidden creative potential.
That sounds almost like science fiction.
It might seem that way now, but it's closer than you think. We're living in an era of exponential technological advancement, and the pace of change is only going to accelerate.
So what does all of this mean for us, the listener? How do we navigate this rapidly changing landscape and ensure that AI is used for good?
It starts with being informed and engaged, and learn about AI, experiment with it, and don't be afraid to ask tough questions.
And don't be afraid to get involved in the conversation. Talk to your friends, your family, your colleagues. Advocate for policies that promote responsible AI development and ensure that the benefits are shared broadly.
Remember, this isn't just about technology, it's about our values, our priorities, and the kind of future we want to create.
Well said. And with that, let's explore some more specific examples of how AI is already being used to make a positive impact in the world. So we talked about AI's potential downsides, but I'm really curious about how it's already being used in a positive way.
Well, one area where we see incredible progress is healthcare AI is being used to develop new drugs, personalized treatment plans, and even improved diagnoses. There are even AI-powered prosthetic limbs that are more responsive and intuitive than ever before.
That's amazing to think about how AI can actually improve lives in such tangible ways. What about other fields?
Well, AI is also making waves in education. There are AI-powered tutoring systems that adapt to a student's learning style and give personalized feedback.
Interesting.
Yeah, this has the potential to really revolutionize how we learn, making education more accessible and effective for everyone.
That's so important, especially in a world where lifelong learning is becoming increasingly crucial. What about using AI to address some of the world's biggest challenges, like climate change or poverty?
Well, AI is playing a growing role in those areas too. For example, AI is used to optimize energy grids, develop renewable energy sources, and predict extreme weather events.
Wow.
In the fight against poverty, AI is being used to identify those most in need, deliver aid more efficiently, and even create economic opportunities.
It's inspiring to see how AI can be a force for good in so many different ways. But as we've discussed, there are also real risks associated with this technology. What can we do to ensure that AI is used ethically and responsibly?
Well, one crucial step is to establish clear guidelines and regulations for AI development and deployment. We need to ensure that AI systems are transparent, accountable, and aligned with human values.
It seems like there's a growing awareness of the need for ethical AI, with many experts calling for a pause in development to allow for broader discussion and consensus building.
Absolutely. We need to have a serious conversation about the ethical implications of AI before it's too late. It's not just about preventing harm, it's also about ensuring that AI is used to create a more just and equitable world.
What role can individuals play in shaping the future of AI? It can feel overwhelming to think about tackling such a complex issue.
Right, but don't underestimate the power of your voice. Stay informed about AI developments, engage in conversations about its implications, and support organizations that are working to promote ethical AI. You can also choose to support companies that are using AI responsibly.
That's a great reminder that we all have a role to play in shaping the future of this technology as we conclude this deep dive. I'm left with a sense of both excitement and caution.
Yeah.
AI has the potential to transform our world in profound ways, but it's up to us to ensure that those transformations are positive.
Absolutely. It's a journey we're all on together. By embracing a spirit of collaboration, critical thinking, and a commitment to ethical principles, we can harness the power of AI to create a future that benefits all of humanity.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the world of AI. We hope you found it insightful, thought-provoking, and empowering. Remember, the future is being written right now, and your voice matters.